channel. I am so excited that you guys have decided to join me for yet another video, and this one is going to be more light, a little more fun. We're going to get into some mess and some drama. So we're going to talk about Married to Medicine, the latest season. I can't remember what season we're on, but we are on episode 4. So let's get into some of the drama of Married to Medicine. Micheal and Simone are shopping, and they are talking about, just college, and Simone talks about how Micheal can't cook, clean, or wash, is what she said, and she's concerned about Micheal going to college because how are you going to have roommates and live in the same space with people, and we can't handle you here at home. So I thought that was really hilarious because that actually does start a lot of roommate drama when you have one roommate that just can't stay clean, just nasty. It's a problem. It will absolutely cause a problem. So cooking, cleaning, washing are not just duties that are relegated to your female children, but are absolutely duties that all children need to know because it is going to cause problems at some point in their life. So now on the washing stand front, I feel you, Micheal. I was not the kid that washed. I did not wash my own clothes in high school, barely washed my own clothes like the first year, 2 years of college. So it's literally until I moved out on my own, had a lease with my name on it, was I then washing my own clothes. And even then, I think my first apartment, I didn't have a washer and dryer, so I took my clothes home anyways. So yeah, I feel you on that. But they talk about the basketball rematch game. So if you've been watching Married to Medicine, you know that there was a basketball game between the adults and the kids. It was so cute. Little Micheal got really upset and was crying. And so now it's just so cute to see Micheal all grown up with his little, I call it the Odell Beckham earring, little Odell Beckham cross earring. He's just a little cutie. But as they're talking about this game, he mentions, that Dr. Jackie is his favorite and he wants Dr. Jackie to be there. And so it's like, okay. Simone seems a little uncomfortable, obviously, because they haven't talked. But she does agree to call Dr. Jackie, and invite her to the basketball game, and said that, Curtis has been watching him play since he was little. And it's like, okay, well, if Curtis has been watching him play since he was little and they deserve to be at this rematch, then I don't understand why they didn't also deserve to be at the graduation celebration. She's the first person that's seen him, being that she delivered him. And so for him to say that she was his favorite, it was like, that was a missed opportunity for sure. And Dr. Simone, we see you being petty, because if she's important enough in his life, again, to invite him to a basketball game, then she should have been important enough in his life to invite him to a graduation celebration. So we then move on to Anila and her family checking out her 14,000 square foot home that is being built. So she went from 9,000 to 14,000. Her children have a playroom on every level. Love it. That's cute. The wealth, the money. And she's so excited about showing her parents this home. But Anila's mama, okay, is pressed boots. She don't like the ceilings. She don't like the material that they picked out for the fireplace. She don't like the fact that she sees balconies. So why this guest bedroom that's supposed to be my bedroom don't have a balcony? And even told the husband, no, if I see something wrong, I'm going to say something. Yeah, mama's going to speak up. So I just thought that was hilarious because there was also a Bravo mom on Married to Medicine LA. And I can't remember the ethnicity of her mom, but she wasn't black, and her mom presented and engaged and acted in the same way that was very familiar, I think, to a lot of us. So having a mother that's, similar in that way, that's going to speak her mind and tell you her opinion, it was just real cute to see a mom and familiarize yourself with her and how she's engaging with her daughter. So this then leads to them talking about the relationship between her parents and what happens culturally once it's time to take care of your parents, and that they do not put their parents in any sort of residence or, for the elderly or anything like that, but that they take care of, their family themselves. And that her dad's like, listen, girl, it's probably going to be be me first. And so your mama just trying to make sure that the situation when she gets here and arrives in grief, that she's comfortable. And obviously this makes Anila upset because nobody really wants to sit down and talk about their parents transitioning and what that will mean for all of us and how that will change all of our lives, even if it is just some of the technical stuff that we have to make sure is done. Anila's husband seems very annoyed with her family and her mom in particular. So when they talk about who's going to take care of the parents and where they're going to go and, you know, what that setup is going to be like, I can't imagine. I mean, who knows what that family dynamic is really like, but as it presents on camera, he doesn't seem all that interested in the mom being anywhere with them permanently. We then see cutaway to Dr. Jackie meeting with a patient. This patient induced her labor by masturbating. During labor, she tore a very special, important part. And Dr. Jackie was sure to let us know that, much like Jesus, that the vagina is very forgiving. So thank you, Dr. Jackie, for that tidbit of information. So we then move to Toya and Eugene. And I'm gonna try to keep it cute on Toya because I really do like Toya. I think Toya is fun. Toya's the girl that you want to go hang out with. Toya got kids, so like y'all can have play dates. Toya is very forgiving, and so if something bad happens or something goes wrong, I feel like Toya will be the girl that, you know, even if she does get upset in the moment, the next day, Toya's gonna reflect, she's gonna talk it through, she's gonna be cool. And I feel like all the reasons why we love Toya, we are just not seeing this season. So Eugene attempts to have a little bit of a conversation with Toya about how he is experiencing her with everything that's going on with COVID and how she's just been more snappy and she's been a little more mean. And that when she's talking with him, he wants her to, you know, express these things in a way that is more favorable and that helps diffuse situations. And I, for one, was like, yeah, Eugene, makes sense to me. Like, I love that. Who doesn't want someone that when they are delivering information or bad news or got a bone to pick or whatever, that they deliver it to you in a way that is, you know, sensitive to who you are. Like, I think that's what we would all want. And so the fact that he was asking for that, Toya didn't seem defensive at all. But she didn't really seem like she was interested. Like, Toya seemed like she wanted to just have a cute little day, afternoon in the tub, in this small ass tub that everybody's talking about. And the only reason why I bring the tub up being small is this. When they first moved in and there wasn't any furniture, and I think someone spoke to the fact that there wasn't any furniture being shady, she's like, oh, you know, well, custom takes time, and, you know, we getting all this stuff built, and we getting all this moved in, blah, blah, blah. And then you come in here with this small ass tub that it seems that you and your husband are barely fitting in, and we just sitting back like, custom where? If it was all custom built then, why you didn't get you a big dumbass marble tub that you and your husband could both comfortably fit in if it was in fact custom? Those are the questions that need answers for Toya. And I also thought it was funny that given everything that Eugene got going on, like he was in a dead sleep, tired, who knows if he was going to a shift or getting off from a shift, and she woke him up like, you know, let's go take a bath. And Eugene's like, oh, okay, so we taking baths in the middle of the day now. Cool. And he did seem a little annoyed by the fact that they were taking a bath in the middle of the day just so they could have a conversation for the Bravo cameras. One of the things in the confessional that Toya mentions, you know, like, I appreciate my husband and the things that he does. I just want my husband back. And that struck me as particularly odd. And here's why. You say you just want your husband back, and he's an ER doctor. At this point, Eugene is only dealing with COVID patients, which is obviously an extremely stressful situation. But you're also, as a doctor, while we are living in a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic, you are also treating patients in a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic, which is just a completely different level of stress and involvement, being on the front lines of this that a lot of us just don't and will not understand. And so your wife trying to lend some understanding to that. What's hard to know that Toya understands about it is because she's a person that seems never satisfied. So even as her husband is doing all of this working, and even as her husband is putting in all of these hours, it seems as though what Toya does and what she has is never enough. Because I think one of the struggles, at least for me, with COVID and everything that's happening is consistently trying to have perspective and wanting to be grateful, at least in some sense, for where you are in life. And I'm not trying to say that Toya is not grateful, but the way in which she comes off seems that even if she is grateful for the things that she has, those things that she has will never be enough for her. Because you are dealing with COVID with an ER doctor who, again, that brings a different level of stress for your family. But then that same doctor has to come home and prepare dinner for his family. And I'm not here to say that Toya needs to be cooking because she is the wife and she doesn't work simply because of those facts and she's a woman. Because she may not be able to cook. That might not be her forte, might not be interested, don't like it, ain't good at it, whatever. And that is okay. What I am suggesting is that if you appreciate your husband who's an ER doctor during COVID and it's taking such a toll and there's so much and you just want your husband back, then why don't you make sure that your husband at least got something to eat when he get home and that he don't have to make the damn meal himself? I don't understand. These are the questions that I need Toya to answer. And so that's one part of it. Complaining about the kids is another part of it. Like, all of the stress that Eugene deals with at home, I bet, or at work, I bet he would give or take a couple days to trade with you so that he could be at home with the kids in a probably less stressful environment than dealing with COVID. So it did feel, and not that her concerns and what she's saying isn't valid, but you're talking about appreciating your husband, and then we don't see the ways in which you appreciate him. And if this is a reality television show, and if we can only see what you put out there, I think it's difficult for us to see that you're putting out there that you truly appreciate your husband and not just that you're saying this and it's a performative thing that you do. So next we move on to a conversation with Dr. Heavenly and her, I think it's her middle son, because she has an older son, who is, I believe, 19 and wants to go to medical school. And he's also has his real estate license and is into the business of flipping houses, and he does that along with his mom, which if you guys watch Dr. Heavenly's YouTube channel, you know that she has her hands in a little bit of everything. She does real estate and flipping. Of course, she has her dental practices. Dr. Damon has different facilities of the medical work that he does. She's also opening a hair store in Atlanta and is doing that behind the guidance of one of the Married to Medicine LA wives. And so Dr. Heavenly is very business-minded, business-oriented, and is obviously passed that along to her children, who of the things that is also being passed along to her children, I thought it was just so cute and so warm and cozy to see her son like just kind of show up on camera as like this younger version of Dr. Damon, just very like mild-mannered and soft-spoken. I just thought that was so cute. So they talk a little bit about real estate, and then ultimately they talk about Black Lives Matter, and it seemed like Heavenly, that conversation was very weird and very directed, almost as if like she had these very specific questions she knew she wanted to ask her son before they had a conversation on camera. Is very much the way it came off, not natural at all. But they have a conversation about Black Lives Matter, and talking about the conversation that took place between Dr. Heavenly and Anila, and essentially her trying to, I don't know if it was an all lives matter situation, but Dr. Heavenly, wanted to redirect the conversation and let her know that we're talking about Black lives and this is the spotlight that we're trying to put on, and essentially having a conversation with her son about how do I do that in a good way. We're going to see later on in this episode that she did that in the worst way possible, probably, but she did try to have a conversation with her son up front and ask for his advice as to how he would do that. And I think one of the things that should have been said and should have been brought up is that we talk a lot about the different violence that happens to different communities, especially right now as we're having a conversation with the violence and the hate that's happening in the AAPI community, and all of the hate crime incidents and the number of incidents that have been reported. I think it's like some 3,200 plus that have been reported just last year alone. Up some 100%, I believe, they said. And so as we talk about all of the different violence that occurs against these different communities and when to talk about who and when should have this spotlight and those different things, I think a part of what gets lost is we are not sometimes accurately redirecting the conversation to, number one, state-sponsored violence as a whole happens across communities. It happens across racial lines, and those, I believe, who are in a certain socioeconomic status experience that as well, regardless of the racial line, right? Because there's criminalization in being poor. And so we have to talk about ending state-sponsored violence. We have to talk about what that looks like, and speak truth to that, but then also just speaking about ending white terrorism in general, and talking about it as white terrorism, because A lot of times that covers all of the spectrums. And white terrorism, a lot of times, because it identifies with an ideology, it will cover the race, it will cover the xenophobia, the homophobia, it will cover all of those different things. And so I wish that was a piece of the conversation that they would have had, but that's just my little 2 cents on the situation. So then we get to the conversation between Anila and Contessa, and they talk about the Rakhi celebration that Contessa was invited to that went left yet again because Toya was involved, so, in my opinion. And so Contessa did make sure to check this time with Anila to make sure that she would be alone in this conversation, that she would be ambushed with anybody trying to make amends on behalf of somebody that she said wants to wage war with her. So how can she? I agree with Contessa. I think it's very difficult to build a relationship with someone that is new, especially when that relationship seems to be being built on the idea of why don't you also make friends with this person? They're great too, and I'm friends with them, and it would be great if we could all be friends, but you guys and your beef is standing in the way, when really that's not it at all. If you want to have a relationship with me, you want to get to know me, and the girl gets to know me, and that's independent of Toya, right? That can happen. And so Anila felt very disrespected, not only because of the way she felt Contessa treated her mom, but culturally because she walked out and didn't finish her dinner, whereas Contessa was having a completely different cultural argument in the sense that I wanted to get up and leave, and you don't put your hands on a black person in the way in which your mom did and get all up in my space when I'm an adult and I was ready to go and I should have been, admitted to. And rightfully so, because Anila's mama was doing way too much. And Contessa told her, quite frankly, like, girl, I don't want to hurt you, but I'm strong, so move, basically. And at the end, Contessa apologized for, any disrespect or anything that was, I guess, taken the wrong way. And I felt like, I don't remember if Anila apologized, but there definitely should have been an apology on behalf of her mother from Anila. She did mention that, her mom is just this little Indian lady who just wanted her to stay. And it's like, I understand that, and we get that, and we felt that. I think the problem is there's also an adult woman who was trying to leave a conflict and she wasn't able to. So now we get to the bullshit, the rematch that happens between the adults and the kids. So I don't know what Bravo has been doing with Dr. Heavenly all this time. I guess because she just has this larger than life personality sometimes, and she doesn't necessarily come with the glamour and the glam that we look for in a real housewife, that we look for with women on these Bravo shows. And backing up, that's one of the things that we love about Toya. Like, Toya gives you lifestyle, Toya gives you vacation, Toya gives you money, Toya's gonna give you, not styled, but she gonna give you some expensive clothes probably, but she brings that element of what you want to see onto Bravo, and so that we can appreciate Dr. Heavenly. Not so much bringing that element, but she does have the money and obviously kind of has the property and those other pieces, the cars, some of those things that you want to see. So I was a little annoyed to know that it's like, what, season 5, 6? I don't know where we at. But she has this beautiful property. They did a drone view of her pool and her property and her basketball court. It's like, damn, Dr. Heavenly, okay. She's just been living there for 20 years. And that over time, they've added on and built on and did other things, and landscaping and all that other kind of stuff. So go Dr. Heavenly. It was really nice to see her property. I think we need a grand tour. Give that to us on your YouTube channel. Dr. Heavenly and Simone felt really good. Like, she was joking about her shorts, and that felt like the old Dr. Heavenly and Simone. Let me tell you, one of the friend groups, I wasn't really big on Mariah and Quad. That can be talked about in a separate video. But one of the things I love about Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Simone is that they're both very smart, that they're both very, I think, sharp with their tongue. They're both loud. They cuss. They're almost like a mirror of each other sometimes when they show up in social spaces. And so they're fun when they get together. So I wish that was more authentic and we could see more of that. I don't know how much more of that we're going to see, because watching the reviews from Dr. Heavenly, they really kind of seem to be into some shit. So as of now, so I don't know what will happen later on in the season. You'll be here. We'll watch. We'll talk about it. So all of the kids start showing up, and Dr. Heavenly jokes about Simone's son flirting with Mariah, her daughter, who is just such a cute young girl. It's so cute to see all these Bravo kids growing up. Teddy, Dr. Heavenly's damn dog, is out there scaring the kids. And I'm with you, Anila's little baby. I'm with you. Get your damn dog, Heavenly. Don't nobody want your dog out here. We're looking for dog-free communities, okay? Period. So Toya shows up in a pandemic with a friend. Was she on the roll sheet? Like, was she on the call sheet? Was she supposed to be there? Like, I don't understand how you at work and you bring a homegirl to your coworker's house when you didn't let them know that they were going to be there ahead of time in a whole pandemic. Questions that Toya needs to answer. So of course she shows up and just starts complaining about everything to Anila, complaining that there ain't no forks, and complaining maybe about how far the drive is. I think somebody else may have complained about that, but then being all out in the woods, and just Toya brings a very nasty, negative energy this season to every single scene that she shows up to, and it's just really weird and off-putting again, because I don't feel like that's who we know and got to know who. I don't feel like that's who we got to know Toya to be. So the adults are cheating to win because they get that ass whooped by those kids. And as soon as the game is over, the BS started almost immediately. And so it's centered around Anila and Heavenly with Kieran, Anila's husband. She asked him to get the kids. And Dr. Heavenly immediately is like, you need to get them kids. That man a doctor, you need to get them kids. And she's like, you don't work. Like, what do? You don't work. That man's a doctor. You need to make sure that he's getting the kids. To which, because of the way she conceptualizes marriage, then yes, you don't work. You're the woman. The kids are your responsibility. It doesn't matter that he's a father. It doesn't matter that he was a part of making these kids. That man work. That's the daddy. He don't need to be worried about them kids. What was weird was Anila's working. This is her job. She is on this show. Y'all are about to film a scene clearly. Kieran, come get these damn kids. I didn't see a problem with it. So Dr. Heavenly asked her, mentions that she doesn't work. She's like, oh no, I do work. I blog. And she's like, girl, that's not a job. So which a part of that, I think, is just Dr. Heavenly playing up her personality and being that villain, being that bully, because then they roll the tape and they roll the footage and show us all the ways in which Dr. Heavenly is a bully and mean to the new girl the first time that they're there. Because Dr. Heavenly knows that blogging can make you money. Number one, she knows because she has a YouTube channel and she has thousands of subscribers. So clearly she's getting a check from Google, number one. But then number two, she does have a relationship with Funky Dineva, who has let us know that he makes more money blogging on YouTube than Monique Samuels, who was a housewife on Real Housewives of Potomac. It does make you money. It can make you a lot of money. And Anila does have two jobs, not one, but two, because she blogs and she works for Bravo. So, but Dr. Heavenly, because of that type of person that she is, she don't see that as a job anyway. So then she finds out that it in fact is a job and that she does work blogging. And she looks at Toya and is literally like, why you don't blog? I'm just like, oh God, because that's what started shit. So now Toya is pressed and is accusing Heavenly of hating, which is just inaccurate. Multiple reasons why Dr. Heavenly is not hating. I think in order to hate on somebody, they have to have something that you want and can't get, cannot access, like things like that. Like I hate on white privilege, right? Dr. Heavenly has no reason to hate on anything that Toya has. Why? Because she lets us know not only can she get it, but she can get it in cash, not financed. So while you gotta pay for more for yours on the back end, she's paying for hers up front, cash. So they go back and forth about that. Dr. Heavenly brings up, what did she say? Toya, you the brokest bitch out here. Which is something that somebody else on the cast has said, to be fair. Simone said it, I think, backstage at a reunion when her and Toya was getting into it. So that wasn't the first time we've heard that about Toya. But then that sets Toya off and she's like, bitch, my outfit is $350. And it's like, well, here we go. That's actually the problem, Toya. That's That's why we're here and we're talking about your finances, because you love to rub it in people's faces that you have a $350 outfit on. Meanwhile, Quad is running around telling your business that you had to take out a personal loan just to get the pool for your house. Questions that Toya needs to answer. So she tells Heavenly, you know, oh yeah, they go back and forth about the money and that sort of thing. And then, because all of this really kind of started with the conversation about Anila, it was like Heavenly's pissed and pressed and knew she wanted to have a conversation with Anila, so she just does a complete 180, 360, whatever, and pivots to Anila and is like, and about the Black Lives Matter. And it was like, what? No. I don't think this is the arena. I don't think this is the way. I don't think this is how your son wanted you to have this conversation with Anila. So as they are in their back and forth, Toya out of nowhere is like, pick on somebody your own size, bitch, you bully, or something like that. And then they're holding each other back from fighting, from a fight that wasn't going to happen, because neither one of them were going to fight. But that is kind of the way the episode ended, just in a mess and a shit show yet again for the fourth time, because Toya, I believe, is at a situation and just brought all of her nasty negative energy. She did it when she came in the door. She was complaining about the event, which wasn't Dr. Heavenly's event. Literally all Dr. Heavenly did was offer up her home because it gave them the ability to be COVID safe, controlling the environment and who was there and being outdoors and that sort of thing. This was Simone's event. So if there was no food, if there were no forks, if there were issues, take it up with Simone. Dr. Heavenly was simply a venue space. That was the episode. Next week, Lisa Nicole Cloud comes back. Whose idea was that? The white lady Carrie comes back. Whose idea was that? But Miss Quad, she got it. Miss Quad is coming back and we are excited because I love Miss Quad. I was sad to see her being demoted as a friend of the show, but it needed to happen. The drama with her and Mariah was exhausting. And I hadn't even been there from the beginning. So we're happy to see Miss Quad come back next episode. And we already know that this season has to just get worse. Because Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone are still not cool. Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Simone are playing cool. Dr. Simone and Lisa Nicole Cloud will never be cool. And it appears that Toya is deciding that she will never be cool with multiple people as well. So, I guess we'll find out next time on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. But I didn't even watch Dragon Ball Z. Let me quit playing. But yes, please join me for the next episode of Married to Medicine. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you watch Married to Medicine, you know people that watch Married to Medicine, love Married to Medicine, please share this video with them because I would love to talk about them. And thank you guys for watching. Bye.